Hi everyone, comic reviewer here. This time reviewing on the film Small Soldiers. Now, as you know, Small Soldiers is a 1998 action comedy film, which was directed by Joe Dante, as well as featuring Kristen Dunst as the main love interest, and kind of as well being inspired by the whole He-Man Masters of the Universe series, as well as being the final film to have Phil Hartman before his tragic death. And the best way I can sum up the film Small Soldiers is a bit like a sort of Transformers-esque storyline and a bit of a message about having the right mindset, ideals, and the right philosophy on what's right and wrong. So the premise of the film is meant to follow how, after a top defense company known as Globotech acquires a sort of toy company, we kind of see how, the owner of Globotech tasks basically with two toy designers, Larry and Irwin, to develop their sort of toys to help kind of make back the money they sort of required. And we see how after basically putting the two toys together, and we kind of see how one of the toy designers ends up kind of accidentally putting a special kind of chip into the toys, we kind of see how the toys end up becoming sentient, and it kind of also creates, the Gorgonites, who are obviously meant to be a version of the Autobots, as well as the Commando Elites, who are obviously meant to be the film's version of the Decepticons. And it's obviously meant to be this kind of Transformers-esque inspired film. And we do kind of see how, former bad kid Alan later learns about the Gorgonites from Archer, as well as seeing what the Commando Elites are slowly capable of. And we do kind of see how slowly over the film, not only does Alan have to kind of slowly help Archer, who's meant to be the Optimus Prime to the film, find the other Gorgonites, but also has to deal with the Commando Elites hunting them down and trying to kind of use any means necessary to take them down. And the best way I can definitely sum up the film is being like this Transformers-esque storyline, because much like the Autobots, we do see how the Gorgonites do show signs of learning, understanding, and seeing things in a new light. Well, the Commando Elites are obviously meant to be the film's version of, like, the Decepticons, because much like Megatron, we see how Major Chip Hazard will use any means necessary to get what he wants. And we see how, much like, say, the Skybound comics, we do see how the Decepticons do show no concern or care for their actions, and will use any means necessary to wipe out their foes. And I think similar to how, Skybound would kind of have Ultra Madness being dismantled, we do see the same thing happening to Krolocon, who ends up kind of being dismantled and slowly put back together. But I think unlike Skybound's Ultra Madness, we do see how Krolocon kind of accepts what's happened to him and tries to move on, which is obviously like a sign of war, dealing with, being tortured, but still trying to carry on like nothing happened. And the best way I would sum up the human characters are a bit like the Transformers-esque thing, because much like Spike, who gets roped into the Autobots and Decepticons' actions, we do see how Alan has to deal with, trying to deal with everything going on while trying to figure out what to do. And you can tell he's trying to fix his reputation by his parents, but it's going to be hard to show it to them, despite the fact that he is trying to make a clean slate for himself, but the damage is still going to be there. And we do kind of see how, the two toy designers are meant to be obviously based on Unicron and Primus, because, we do see how much like like Larry, we see how Unicron will use any methods without realizing the consequences. And we see how, much like Primus, we see how Erwin wanted to do something with good intentions that slowly ends up getting corrupted. And the best way I can sum up the character who owns Globotech, who is obviously meant to be Gil, is meant to be the Quintessons, seeing the Autobots as well as the Decepticons, who originally before the war, nothing more than robots for cheap labor and profit. And yeah, the best way I can also sum up the character Ralph, who obviously works at the sort of microchip division, is a lot like Alpha Trion, because much like Alpha Trion, we do see how Ralph is a bit more of the keeper of other sparks, a bit more knowledgeable and all that, but is also a bit of an oddball, a bit of this kind of scruffy, kind of out of touch guy. And I think the best way I would say is that, yeah, you do see how the Gorgonites have to kind of slowly learn to band together to try and take out the Commando Elite. We do see how Archer has to be the Optimus Prime to try and help motivate, try and get them to fight together like a team and a unit. And the best way I would say about the film is that it's just there to show moments where it can go darker, it can go funny, but it's trying to be a bit of a mix of both. But it's not trying to go full on too dark. So the best way I can sum about Full Small Soldiers is that it's an okay film, it knows what it has to be, but there's moments where it can be a bit emotional, it's a moment where it can be funny, but it knows it can't be a mix of bit of both. So I think the film definitely deserves 2 thumbs in the middles. Kind of alright, kind of okay, but not that bad. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.